Changing the battery on your METOS LoRath temperature humidity logger post 2022. So yours should look like this. You may or may not have the solar panel on the top there, and you may not have the power switch and the comms connector, which is an Agritech modification. If you have got the power switch, when it's on, you'll see the red, not illuminated, but the red. Switch the power off for full disconnecting the battery. If you don't have the power switch, not to worry. Essentially, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver to undo the 4 Phillips screws on the front cover. Once they're removed, carefully lift off the lid, because you'll find the battery is actually on the underside of the lid. Remove the screws for safe keeps. And turn the lid over, you'll find your battery, which is stuck to the lid with double-sided sticky tape. Remove the battery and then carefully remove the battery from the capacitor, the unit in here. If yours doesn't have a capacitor, it may be cabled straight onto the board, in which case it will be on this left-hand connector here, labelled SCAP, S-C-A-P, the white being the positive, the brown being the negative. And next to that, you'll find the solar panel lead. If you have a solar panel, again, red positive, black negative. This one has the capacitor, most should have, and that's the capacitor here. So carefully remove the connector from the capacitor, replace your battery, ensuring that the red goes onto the positive terminal, labelled here on the left hand pin. Push the connector on carefully, and then you can reapply the battery on the inside of the lid. Point to note, for those of you who don't know your way around this unit, that's the modem. The modems with the bit missing out in the middle here are the latest 2G fallback modems, and this is your SIM card holder sitting here. This unit doesn't have a SIM in it, yours will, and that's where the SIM card's held. So once you're happy that you've changed your battery, replace the lid. The lid does have a gasket on it, and the gasket goes between the lid and the main enclosure. This gap here must be closed to seal that gasket to prevent water ingress. When tightening, it's a good policy to do opposites first, so you clamp down that gasket equally. Once you've done that, you can go for your final tighten, again working around the opposites. And ensuring that gap is nicely filled in around here. Once done, if yours does have the switch, obviously switch it back on. If it doesn't, it will be powered up the minute you put the connector of the battery back on the terminals. That will instigate a reconfiguration of the modem communicating with the local tower, so your data within 15 minutes will start coming through, and it's now ready to go back out into your crop. If you've got the solar panel, and most of you should have, make sure it's clear of any foliage, and that in the northern hemisphere it's pointing due south, southern hemisphere due north, and that's changing the battery in the METOS LoRath.